What's up, everybody? Welcome back to RacingDudes.com. Welcome back to another one of our previews. We've got a busy, busy week coming up here for 4 prep races, 2 on Friday, 2 on Saturday. Let's go to one of them on Friday. We've actually done a video on this, but they redrew the race. It's not really a different field, just kind of minus 1 horse. But I thought let's redo the video, different post positions, obviously, and maybe some things could change with different setups or whatever. So let's do it. Let's go to the Withers. That's what I'm talking about. On Friday, February 6th, will be race 10 on an 11 race card. And let me tell you something. If you're usually just like maybe a Saturday, Sunday better, it may add Friday into the rotation this week because Aqueduct has a great card. Oaklawn has a great card. Gulfstream seems to always have a good one as well. So it is a very busy Friday and Saturday. Add Friday into the rotation. Take off work. Who cares? It's just February. You don't need to be going to work. All right. Field of 7 here in this one. Like I said, we have done this before, so we'll just kind of go over it again here, see if anything's changed. Not really. So the number 1 Grittiness, he was actually towards the outside. Now he's inside on the rail. I don't think it really makes any much of a difference, I would say. He's one of only 2 horses that have actually started a race at a mile and 1/8. It came last time out in the Rubinson Stake. 5th in that race, beaten 9.5 lengths, ran behind Paladin and Renegade, 2 horses that obviously are pretty highly thought of right now, for sure. So, horse is still a maiden, got beat 2 back by Courting, another horse that's pretty decent. This horse is by Curlin out of an Oxbow mare, and the mare was actually Coach Rocks, who won the Gulfstream Park Oaks back in the day at obviously Gulfstream Park. Still a maiden, only hit the board once. I think he's here because they really just need a mile and 1/8 race. He's just kind of a grinder. And I think that style might be okay here because there's some other horses with speed, but I don't think he's really a threat to win the race. I'd kind of toss him from the win side of things. Let's go to the number 2 Schoolyard Superman. Manny Franco gets the mount here once again for the 4th straight race. 3 really good starts. 2 really good starts. And, the first race was a disaster, clipped heels and fell and just, kind of a scary scene. Second race came back and got going a little bit. Got beat by 3 1/4, but did finish second, going 6.5 furlongs there at Belmont at the Big A. And then last time out, stretching out to a mile, looked extremely good, winning by 5 3/4, gate to wire. And it looks like the light bulb was kind of finally came on in that race when you talk about Schoolyard Superman. Sources by Practical Joke, and I think that is a worry going a mile and 1/8 out of a Tisnow mare, so maybe the distance will come from the bottom half there. I don't think he's extremely well bred for this race, but I don't think it's absolutely impossible either. I just look at him and think if he can last a mile and 1/8, he's going to be very tough to catch. I just feel like his stablemate's going to catch him right at the end, but I've got no problem if you're going to play Schoolyard Superman here. He doesn't look, he looks the part for sure, is what I'm trying to say. So I do like him quite a bit, and we'll see if he can kind of get the distance moving forward. The number 3 is the stablemate Ottenho, and Ottenho, a horse, if you watched the last video, I picked him on top, and I'm going to pick him on top again in this spot. Ottenho on debut, pretty decent race, got 3rd, beaten 2 lengths at Aqueduct there on November 23rd, going 1 mile, stretched out to a mile and 1/8 last time out, got the maiden broke right here over this track on December 31st, won it by a head. Beat a pretty nice horse in Hadrian's Wall, a stablemate there that day as well. They were pretty much clear of everybody else. So I think it's 2 decent horses that were in that race. You kind of look at Ottenho, and again, he's one of only 2 that have even tried the distance. He's the only one that's won at the distance. And I think at a mile and 1/8, that is a huge factor, right? I think once you get to a mile and 1/8, you really start to separate. Okay, this horse might kind of be more on the sprint side. This horse is going to catch him really in a route. I think you can get away with it a mile 16th, a mile and 1/8. I'm not as confident. So I do like Ottenho once again here by Quality Road, out of a Giants Causeway mare, obviously impeccably bred here for the number 3 Ottenho. Let's go to the rest of the field here. The number 4 Star Sweeper is next. Pretty light on the speed figure side, and kind of been in some weaker races. It took he won on debut, and then it took 3 races before he was able to win again. Broke the maiden at Parks, then was 5th in a stakes at Delaware, 8th in a stakes at Laurel. Came back and won an allowance last time out. Kind of put it all together there at Parks, but No, those races were much shorter. His 2 wins have come at 6.5 furlong. Now we're going a mile and an eighth. A Rock Your World horse out of a Tappet mare. So, I mean, it looks to me as though, going a mile and an eighth isn't going to be too big of a problem from a breeding side. But when you look at the running, I think it is a problem. I think he's a real long shot in this one. The number 5 is Melata. I like this horse quite a bit. At Parks, he has just been outstanding the last 3 races, just running away from a field, winning a maiden at Parks, winning a Pennsylvania bred stakes at Parks, and then winning a listed stakes there against Open Company by 19 lengths last time out. Now, a couple of issues. Speed figures really didn't come back all that fast, no matter where you look at any of them. So that's a little bit of a problem. Raced a mile when he broke the maiden and then cut back to 7 furlongs the last 2 races. Now we're going a mile and an eighth. This horse is by Maximus Mischief out of a Medaglia d'Oro mare. So, I mean, there's breeding on the bottom half to say in a mile and an eighth will be okay. I think the competition is my biggest problem. I just feel like there is other speed in the race. We're stretching out. The pace, I think, is going to be decent enough. I am skeptical that he's going to be able to finish quite, as strongly as maybe the 2 Chad Brown horses. I think he's a good horse. I kind of have him circled as one that, maybe you try here, then they cut him back and he might look better in kind of a little bit of a shorter race. I'm just kind of, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence here. I don't think he's good enough to win in this spot. The number 6 is Talk to Me, Jimmy, a horse that broke the maiden last time out right here at Aqueduct, going a mile, gate to wire fashion, 5.5 length victory for Talk to Me, Jimmy. I thought it was an impressive race last time out. Going to have to stretch out in distance. That's where the worry is for me. Horses by Modernist out of a trippy mare. I don't see this horse stretching out successfully to a mile and an eighth. I do think he'll play a part in the pace. I just don't think he'll be around at the end. And then finally, the number 7 is 4th and 1. This is a horse you never love to see a horse take 4 times to break the maiden. But, he was beaten the last 2 times by Bravaro, and Bravaro just ran second to Nearly in the Holy Bull. To me, it's like, he was running competitive-ish with that horse, gets away from him, gets the job done last time out. I think 4th and 1's got a little bit of intrigue. I think maybe underneath, maybe if he's a price, put him in second, third, maybe try to get a price involved. I think he makes a little bit of sense. He is a New York bred taking on Open Company for the first time. He is stretching out in distance for the first time as well. His horses by Maxfield out of the Medaglia d'Oro mare. So I don't think a mile and eighth will be a problem. It is interesting. They haven't tried it yet, but really there's not a ton of New York bred races where you're going to go a mile and an eighth. So it's not like they were sitting there going, okay, here's 3 or 4 we could choose from. Right. So I kind of understand why they haven't. I think he's one to watch. I think Bravaro kind of showed us that 4th and 1 is one to watch. This might not be the best spot. Maybe, like I said, maybe he can get second or third. He's got talent. You go back and watch his replays. He can run a little bit. Now he's still a little light on the speed figure standpoint. Maybe this is a New York bred that you catch someday on a day up there at NYRA at 5 or 6 to 1 and wins, something like that. We'll kind of see how that goes, but he's a decent horse for sure. All right, that's the 7. I did have a request and that I should do the top 4. And I was like, yeah, I could do that. So I'm going to give you my top 4 now at the end of these videos. And so, yeah. So anyway, I'm going to go number 3, Ottenho on top in this spot. Number 2, Schoolyard Superman in second. I put the number 1, Grittiness, in third. I just kind of feel like it might set up a little bit for him to close late and get a piece of it. And I put number 5, Melata, in fourth. So 2, 3, 1, 5. All right, guys. Thanks everybody for watching this video. Again, if you watched it twice and if you're watching it for the first time, thanks for watching as well. All right, guys. Hit that like button if you like. Hit subscribe. You really like when I get alerting time. We do videos like this. And most importantly, good luck if you're betting Aqueduct on Friday.